Intentions.
All right.
Best Intentions. Well, Best Intentions was our first full length. We put it out a little over a year ago. And yeah, it's pretty cool that we've been able to do it this long. And I don't know. I like it a lot.
Have you been surprised by the reaction from kind of like the audiences at things like Warped Tour, where people perhaps didn't know you as well as when you're on your own headline tours?
Sure. I think. Well, the fact that we were able to put out a full length made things a little different too. I think like before we just had an EP out, and it was just kind of like, oh, this is an introduction to this band, and what are they all about? And now it's kind of like, okay, it's almost like a way of taking things a little bit more seriously for the audience. It's like, oh, okay, so they're not just a band that just was going to put out an EP and then flop somewhere.
It was nice to be able to play more than 6 songs. We have trouble now picking which songs to play, which is
good problem to finally have.
Yeah, not a bad thing.
How do you think the singles have gone from the album?
Pretty good.
Yeah, really well. It's funny. I like the fact that here in the UK the singles are totally different than the singles that we choose in the US, and I think that happens to a lot of bands. And right now, a song called "Exits and Entrances" is our single out here in the UK, whereas in the US it hasn't been a single yet. So I think that's really cool. It's nice for us because we get a change of pace. We don't have to sing like, we don't have to sing the same song last in the US as we have to do in the UK. It kind of it helps us change the setup, the set list up a little bit, and kind of keeps it interesting.
Have you found different songs react differently in different countries? Because obviously this year you've toured absolutely everywhere, whilst before you were probably a bit more the States and a bit of Europe. Well, this year,
different
South America.
They absorb a certain style or genre of music, either more or less than another. So there's places like the UK that really like what we've noticed is more guitar driven, a little bit like heavier songs. I guess heavier for us, we're a pop band. And then there's the US who are really into like the dance, like house music right now. So when we play a pop song, they're like, oh hell yeah, I can get into this. So it's weird, but I mean we try not to play songs that just that the crowd only want to hear. Like we have to do it for ourselves as well, and I think that's something a lot of the audience never realize that. They're kind of like, why didn't you play this song? Like not because I didn't want to play that song, it's because I wanted to play another one. And sometimes you have to do it for yourself too. You can't just kind of, I mean obviously, but it does have a difference.
To a certain
extent. There's a line. Yeah,
and also playing the same songs every single night. Sometimes you just want to change things about for yourself.
And then there's that, just kind of wanting to change the setup, or just because it's boring after a while or something.
Just doing the same set every night. Like, all right.
Now that you've obviously the album's been out for a year and you've been touring it solidly all over the world, what's the next step? Are you guys already thinking about the next album? And how's progress, or is there any kind of plans?
The next album
is definitely
in the near future. Yeah, we're just trying to get our ideas put together, mostly in our heads first. We've been really busy this year, thankfully, but it didn't leave us a lot of time to demo or really get any writing done. But we do have a few ideas, wandering around. I know I have a lot to say. So,
hopefully we'll get in the studio early next year, or this year, or whatever 2013 is, soon. And then hopefully have it out summer.
Cool. And one last question then for Tay. How was it working with Yellow Card?
It was awesome. Actually, that was funny because Yellow Card we had only met like Australia once on like a very short Soundwave tour, and so I didn't really know them all that well, just like kind of like if we saw each other, like, hey man, what's up, good to see you, but not that well. So I remember going into the studio, and at the time their producer was working with Aerosmith, so I ended up going into a different studio than that they recorded in. And I remember sitting, like standing in the studio and just like realizing that Steven Tyler just walked out of here, like damn it, I'm nowhere near this. So but I was really nervous, and then Ryan Key came into the studio. He's such a talented dude, and it kind of made me feel a lot better. And it's always weird working with people you don't know, and but the producer and, you know, Ryan as well. Just, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And just being able to sing a song that like meant a lot to me too, even though they wrote it, was pretty sweet.